I'm LaQuinla Hunter, and I'm excited.
Yes, listen, we want to welcome you to Ministry Shall Not Destroy My Marriage. Listen, we have an awesome show for you today.
Yes.
Go ahead and call your mama, call your cousins, call your friends.
Everybody. Get everybody.
Tell them, listen, you need to tune in to Ministry Shall Not Destroy My Marriage. I am so excited to be here. I am so excited to be here with this sexy lady here.
Okay.
I'm trying to tell you, she got the blings on.
I knew Lady Silvers was coming on. I said, I got to pop this show. I said, because she brings it.
Yes, sir.
I had to bring out the studs.
Yes. Listen, we are so excited to have with us our special guest on today's show of Ministry Shall Not Destroy My Marriage, Superintendent Silvers and Lady Silvers.
Oh, yes.
Yes, indeed. How are you all doing?
Doing fine. And,
Doing good.
Happy to be here on today.
We're so glad to have you. I tell you, you're so sharp, man. You're just cool and calm, cool, and collective. I tell you, we're so glad to have you.
Wow. Yes,
Lady Silvers, you're rocking.
Thank you.
You are rocking. You got this thing here just blinging out.
Yeah.
You got the Queen Elizabeth jewelry on. Lord have mercy.
Beautiful.
Yes, we are so
I do my
excited.
best.
Yes, ma'am.
I do my best.
Honey, you're working it. I'm trying to tell you, you're working it. If you want a fashion designer, call her. Her information is right there on the lower thirds. Call her. Yes, indeed. So, Apostle.
And some of their church family is here.
Yes.
Gates of Heaven Church of God in Christ.
Gates of Heaven is in the house. Gates of Heaven is in the house. We are so excited to have you all with us and to have the awesome opportunity to interview and chat and talk with this awesome man and woman of God, generals in the gospel.
Oh, yes.
Yes, indeed. As y'all can see, he get that pretty silver hair. Listen, that silver hair just don't come overnight. I'm going to tell you that right now. Yes, sir. And so we are excited to just sit in dialogue with them. They have been in ministry for a mighty long time. How long have you all been in ministry?
Well, we've been in ministry now for over 30 years.
Wow, that's incredible.
Approximately 38 years, yeah.
Awesome.
And you all been married 44 years.
44 years.
44 years.
44
Wow.
years.
And don't look a day over 20.
I tell you, I say, y'all just got beautiful skin. Everything is just a blessing. I've heard vaguely just stories on how you all met. If you ever wonder about like a Romeo Juliet or just a Cinderella type thing, I've been in you all's presence and heard others just talk about how you all met and the age you met and the things that happened. And I just think that the audience and those who are viewing would love to hear that story.
Yes.
I just thought it was mind blowing. You hear a lot of times. People say they knew somebody from a child, but you all's story is very peculiar in how you met.
Yes, tell us, how did you meet?
Well, when I met her, she was preparing a meal.
Uh-huh.
And it is true that the way to a man's heart is through his stomach.
Come on now.
And I was visiting my grandma Chalk, was next door to her grandmother, and she was preparing a meal, so I went outside and I sampled her meal.
Her being
And she-
outside.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, outside.
And she was about four years old.
Wow. I mean, I've never heard of anything quite like 4.
And she was preparing a meal outside. You know what that was back in that day and time.
You have to tell them what type of meal
It was mud cake.
Wow.
And so after I sampled her meal, I went back and told my daddy, I said, I'm going to marry that girl. You know,
At 4.
I was about 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just.
I was 4.
And I was
he
about
was
5.
about 5.
Yeah, about 5 years
Wow.
old. And so from there, 5 children, 11 grandchildren later, 44 years, her cooking has improved.
All right.
It has improved somewhat, but we've been blessed of God to be together this
Yes.
long while.
And
Understood.
it has been a journey.
Okay. And I think sometimes when and you all have met at a certain tender age, even at that, so you all went to school, you constantly
Yes.
saw each other. When did you all start getting serious about your relationship?
I was 12.
She was 12 years
Whoa.
old.
Wait a minute.
And I was about 13.
Okay.
And she was 12 years old, and we,
We
started
courting.
dating.
Okay.
At 12 years old.
Yeah.
Come
Wow.
on now.
Well, see, I was able to do that because when we were courting during that time, most of the time that you spent was in church.
Understood.
Uh-huh.
You know, you went to church, you saw each other in school, then you saw each other in church, and in order for you to even say you were boyfriend and girlfriend, you had to have a Christian heart. Anybody remember? No,
Yeah.
You had to have.
I think it
Everybody look at
Yeah, you had to be Christian hearted, and so therefore I sung in the choir at my church, and then well I was in the Pentecostal church and the Baptist church. We were Baptist Costals, and I sung in the choir, and then I would leave there and go around to their church and sing in the choir because her grandmother and her aunt had to see me
Come on now.
at church, and our families knew each other, but you still had to be Christian hearted. Y'all know what that is. And you know, and so that's how it came about, and working together in church and seeing each other in church and wanting the same things. You know, my grandparents raised me,
And my grandparents raised me.
and
Wow.
and we didn't want that, you know, for our kids. We wanted to be there for them, and when we got married, and so you know, and you make those sacrifices.
Yeah.
I wanted her to be at home with the kids and not be at work,
Yes.
and so we sacrificed.
Mm.
No, to that point, we sacrificed to that, and we did without. We learned a whole lot. We learned how to share. We learned how to go out to dinner, and buy one dinner.
I know that's right.
See, yeah, and share it, you know, and enjoy it. You know?
Yeah.
And
One thing I had to learn as a wife, I had to learn to be content in what I had. You know, it's not that I had a lot, but what he provided and the way he provided
Yes.
made me feel so good. Made me feel like I had a lot.
Yeah.
So I learned
I was
to be
good.
content.
Yeah.
I was
I was good. You know, honest. I mean, with the help of the Lord. And because I had seen guys who would, you know, just brag about what monies they had in their pocket, and the wife and the kids looked like they were,
Terrible.
you know, and they were driving new cars.
Yeah.
Our kids were grown and out of college before we had a sedan. All of our cars were station wagons.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes, and that was 3
yeah, you know,
station wagons.
and we drove until the people in the community felt sorry for us. They said, "Is that car going to make it?" But that's what you have to do. You have to make those sacrifices.
Yes.
The Word of God says that the husband is to love the wife
Yeah.
as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. And so therefore the husband is to give himself
Come on, sir.
for the wife.
And that's what make it easy
understood.
for us. Because once the husband is loving you like he's supposed to, it makes it easy
To submit.
for you to submit.
Yeah.
It really do.
Yeah. Now let's not jump too far. That's good though, cause we
gonna get there.
We gonna hit that. Y'all met at
3 and 4.
at 3 and 4. Y'all started dating at
4 and
12. 4 and 5. You started dating at 12. When did y'all actually get married? How old were y'all when you got married?
I had just turned 20. My mom had to sign for me to get married.
Come on now.
And she was 18. Her mom didn't have to sign for her. But my mom had to sign for me to get married, and she refused to do so. And so I said to her, "Well, I'm going to North Carolina and get married because you
No, that's right.
get married in North Carolina any age.
Yeah.
The only thing that's required in North Carolina is show up." But then my mom relented, and she went on and signed for me to get married. We married. We married with a color television and a rollaway bed and one pillow.
God is good.
That's
but,
love.
but you all loved each other, so
Yeah.
it was worth doing it. And evidently you wanted to do it right,
Yeah.
Right.
you know.
We had already set our rules when we were going together, how we wanted things to be,
Yes.
and how we wanted to treat each other.
And what were some of those things?
One thing, we decided that the word divorce was not even in our vocabulary.
And we were
So we
not,
never used it.
and we were not saved. We were
Right.
church brats. But,
Yeah.
but you know, brat.
Yeah.
Yeah. You go to church singing in the choir, you don't know Jesus. Yeah, you know, you do that because that's where you were raised up.
Yes.
And but we like my wife said, we set those rules for ourselves. With
Yes.
divorce, we don't even discuss that.
Mm-hmm.
Leaving, going somewhere.
Come on.
I'm leaving. I'm going. That has never happened.
Yeah.
Just to the couch.
You go into. No, she's in the bedroom and she's angry,
Mm-hmm.
and you enter on the couch and you just wait till folk go to sleep. And y'all married people.
Oh, yeah, we know about it. We know about it.
You wait till everybody go to sleep, and you go in there and you crawl in bed. And you don't touch nobody. You slide right on in, and you don't touch anybody. You know, we never talked about divorce.
Yeah.
It was never a thing. You know, and every marriage has some storms.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, definitely.
But we never. That was never a subject. We agreed to that early on.
Yes.
Yeah.
What the challenges of being marrying early? We got married at 19. I mean, there are some challenges because there evidently some things you have, some things you don't. Your maturity level,
Yeah.
you know, all those things, you know.
Go ahead, sweetie.
Well, it wasn't a challenge to me
Okay,
because I knew what I wanted.
understood.
And my this is crazy, but my role model was June Cleaver in the
Come on,
around
man.
the hills. You know.
And that's what she
That's what we
projected.
had on.
When I came home from Newport News Shipbuilding and Dry Dock, I mean, she was there and she was clean and she had changed her clothes.
I've never seen her casual, and people talk about me.
Yeah, and that sort of thing, you know, and my martini was you know, my drink was there. And I take my drink and I go take a shower and I come back out and, you know, and then when the kids started, you know, I played with the kids and Dad was a good guy. And,
Y'all good.
But
yeah, but we wanted that,
right.
you know. And I cut the streets out. That's
Yes.
the major thing. My whole life changed.
And you know, my grandmother, she taught us that the women do the inside in the home, and the men, they worked on the outside.
Yeah.
So when he would come home, I had his bath water ready. This was every day.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had his bath water ready.
You do it.
Everything
You're making
laid
it hard
out.
for
She
us.
said,
I know I don't do this day and time.
Yeah.
But this is what
There's
I
nothing
was
wrong
taught.
with
This is the
it.
way I was
Yeah.
raised, you know.
yeah.
So, you know, I had everything ready. I was so good, I even shined his shoes.
Good God
I'm
Almighty.
telling you. I really did.
Come on now.
I really did.
See, now,
And it's not wrong with that
No.
because it was
No,
a mutual
yeah.
understanding.
Right.
You treated
It's
your
nothing.
Yeah.
It's nothing wrong with it, especially if that's what you was raised
That's
to
right.
do.
and if that partner or that husband or that wife is doing what is required of them.
That's right.
See, that's what we were talking about earlier. If you do what's required of you, submitting is no problem.
Right.
That's right.
You know what I
Because
mean?
I rubbed this man's feet yesterday.
And it's hard. isn't it?
That's how we gonna do? Y'all know I'm finna cut up now. I'm trying to tell you.
And how did it feel rubbing my
It
feet?
felt good.
She got a blessing for rubbing my feet. I'm trying to tell you. Trying to tell you.
And that's what you want.
Yes.
You know.
And we should, as husband and wife,
Yeah.
take care of each other.
Yes.
I think a lot of society has lost this ability to care for one another.
Yes.
From that point on, when did you all, okay, we really need to get God in the center of our marriage? When did that transpire?
But before y'all did that, I like something that y'all said. And that was, first of all, y'all were doing this without really, y'all knew God, and, you know, but it wasn't really the main focus. Y'all were unsaved.
Right.
And it was still working because of how you were raised.
Yeah.
Right, but see then too, I have to give this credit to the Lord because sometimes I think this marriage was made in heaven first. I really do. But, you know, it was already set in my mind what I wanted. You know, because I remember, I think I was about 6 years old, and I was getting ready to jump off the back porch and run. And the Lord just spoke to me so clear at that time.
Yeah.
He spoke to me so clear, said, you were going to be a pastor's wife.
Come on.
So from that point on, you know, I said, okay, Lord. And I, you know, jumped down and I just kept running. So from that point on, I knew that I was going to be married.
Wow.
And it was never a problem for me in being a wife.
Yeah.
You know, now we had some struggles.
Of course.
Don't think we didn't, because
Yeah.
we did.
And there's development. Like, so we come into maturity
Yes.
in our marriages. I used to go buy clothes for her.
Come on now.
You
You
know.
can shop for her.
Yeah, I used to go shop for her and buy her clothes, and she would love it. But then there came the time wherein I would buy stuff, you know, and bring it home, and she'd look at it like, oh my God, and it stayed in the closet.
Man, I know that feeling, Doc.
So what we did, you mentioned earlier, one of the things, getting married young, we watch each other develop,
Yeah.
and we watch each other come into a state of maturity, you know, in our marriage, you know, we seen it, you know. Like I said, I could buy clothes for her. I can't do that now. You know, I haven't been able to do that for a long time, you know, because her taste matured. And I'm still buying for the little girl. You know, and so that's one of the things with it. And not being say I always been raised in church. And even before, I think we had Tracy and Sherry, and we had to go to church. It was Sunday morning. And so we carried them to church, and we did our thing, you know, carried them to church, right after church, I, you know, came back home, got my drinks, and enjoyed the game. I had done my religious duty. You know what I mean? I mean,
That's what
honestly,
it was, a duty.
yeah, I had done my duty, you know, and the people in the community applauded us because we were a young couple with these little babies, you know, looked like they, you know, were angels, and we Sunday morning, we were hand in hand, we were going to church. They said, great, that's how a family ought to be. Stand up, Sylvester, you know, and we standing, and they said, but that was, I'm like, man, how long are you gonna preach? Because the Lakers are playing. You know? And that sort of thing. But I think that being reared in that fashion was God's thumbprint on our lives. You know, being reared in that fashion. And as a kid, folk called me preaching. Mother Slaughter used to every Sunday, she lived on the same street your grandmother did. Every Sunday she would save me a slice of cake because I was going to be a preacher. Man, that's from a little kid. I was a little kid.
Wow.
And I carried, I would make sure I went by there every Sunday because my cake was there. I cared nothing about preaching. It was that slice of cake that was waited. I mean, and it was religiously, you know. And God blessed her to see what she had spoke come into reality, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's something about them old seasoned of the saints that
They
they could tell. They just said, you got the mark on you. You got the mark on you. Man, that is awesome. That is awesome.
Now, from there, okay, when did you start getting into church? When did they start noticing the calling on you? Because we know that you ended up, you know, became a minister, then pastoring. I want to know about all those dynamics.
Well, I had.
First, I had gotten saved first.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, how was that?
Now,
Did you still bring
can
him
I tell them
martinis?
about that?
Yeah, I
At the night, see, I had gotten to a point that the only ones I had to talk to was my children. So I was baby talking every day. But when my husband would come home, he would read and he would look at TV, you know. And I started feeling some kind of way, you know.
Yeah.
The newspaper had all my attention,
Mhm.
you know, so I had to stop that. So I became angry.
Mhm.
And whenever he would sit down, the last time he sat down to read a newspaper, I snatched it and balled it up. And and he's wondering, well, what's wrong with you? I said, talk to me.
Mhm.
Look at me.
Yeah.
You know, so things just got a little distant
Mhm.
during that time. And so the night I had made up my mind, I'm not gonna have it. I'm going back to Mama, which was my grandmother.
Yeah.
And
We're going back to mama with 2 babies.
yeah,
Mama won't gonna have it. That's number one.
That's number one. You just sit on back.
but the night that I decided that I was gonna go back to Mama, I also decided to go to a tent revival. And when I decided to get saved, that was the night that I really decided to get saved. And I went to that tent revival with Aunt Josephine, and that's the night that I got saved.
Come on now.
And after I got saved, then we brought him in.
Yeah.
Now you got saved in a Baptist church.
No, I got saved at a tent revival.
Oh, Tim was like, okay.
Mhm.
Oh, hey, glory.
Yeah. Now, I was thrilled.
You have a way with words. Like, what is that?
No, yeah, but I was thrilled that she had gotten saved because I knew, that a saved wife, number one, she definitely is to be submissive to the husband. And she wasn't to complain, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
She
so
was,
it's gonna work in your favor.
yeah. And I was thrilled about that. Having been raised up in, I saw all of the, what is the word I want to use? How those wives were submissive and
Obedient.
Yeah, that's good. To their husband and all that sort of thing. Been raised up in it. I saw some of the worst husbands get the best treatment. You understand? And I say, this is great.
My God.
And she'll tell you, I encouraged her. And I did nothing to hinder her. Like some husbands, you ain't going to church tonight. No, you going, baby. And take the little angels with you. But because of how I was raised. And then what happened, I started, because I was in a Baptist church. And so I said, well, since and most of my family, my granny and all, but my grandfather never left the Baptist church. So I went over, I said, well, I'll go where my wife is. That was Paul's Temple there in Suffolk. And I didn't go to get saved or anything like that. I just went there because my wife was there and I had to watch those other fellas that was in church. So I
Don't
went,
push up on your property.
so I went down, and it was one Sunday night, Bishop Paul Armstrong was running revival and in North Carolina, and my brother-in-law, Roy Ely, tricked me into going. If you go, I'll go, sort of thing. And I didn't want to go, and she's begging, my wife was begging me to go. I didn't want to go. And so, but I ended up going, and that night I accepted Christ as my Lord and Savior, and I was saved that night,
But even during that time, God was still dealing with us. I mean, he was dealing with us like one-on-one. He would give my husband certain dreams, and he would wake up speaking in tongue. And one night he woke up, he had a dream that he was in hell.
Okay.
So God has
But
always.
that was before that. I got saved soon after that dream.
That dream got you right there. My God.
But he's always dealt with us. That was why our minds was so much like it was. Even as a little girl, I've always, as far back as I can remember, I've always wanted to be saved. But knowing what saved was, I didn't know what it was. I didn't understand. But I've always wanted to. And the same with him. The Lord let him know that he was going to, be a preacher, and accept him.
Yeah, but people then, they didn't put a lot of emphasis on being happily married.
Yes.
You know, being married and being happy. You know what I mean? It was like something of the norm.
HP Music and Arts is excited about the release of our first movie, Caught Up, Memoirs of a Preacher's Wife. We would like to invite you to join our fan club on today. Your membership entitles you to become qualified for prizes and free movie merchandise. Everyone who joins our fan club will receive a Caught Up Memoirs of a Preacher's Wife button as a tool to assist us in promoting the film. Do you have team building skills and like to win free items? Become a team captain, build your fan club team, and partake in monthly incentives and prizes. Once your team reaches 10 members, every team captain will receive a free Memoirs of a Preacher's Wife t-shirt. In addition to this free t-shirt, everyone on the team is entitled to receive a shirt at a discounted rate of $10. There will be monthly team games to win prizes and to help promote the movie. We will be hosting a meeting with all of our team captains to show them how to register and how to register their teams on our website. We thank you for taking time out to learn more about the Caught Up Memoirs of a Preacher's Wife fan club. Again, we thank you and we look forward to working with you in helping us spread the word about this wonderful film, Caught Up Memoirs of a Preacher's Wife.
In the beginning, Monica and Raymond had it all. They were living happily. Times were good, so it seemed. But little did they know, in a web of lies, someone would get caught up.
I have a warrant for your arrest.
I don't want to talk to no attorney. You need to explain to me what's going on, Monica.
You need to save the house, okay?
Yeah!
Stop thinking that you know everything and that you're perfect. Maybe I wouldn't want a divorce.
A divorce?
HP Music and Art presents Caught Up, Memoirs of a Preacher's Wife.
That's my wife!
A Chance Music and Media Group production.